The TSA has fundamentally changed airport security for seniors in 2026, and these are 5 major changes that every senior traveler must know about, plus one viral myth that could cost you your trip if you believe it. If you're over 65 and planning to fly this year, the rules have fundamentally shifted since May 2025, and there's a shocking $45 fee that caught millions of travelers off guard starting February 1st. Before we take off, hit like and subscribe for more aviation tips, pilot insights, and real-world flying advice. No fluff, just practical knowledge. Let's get into it. Let me be crystal clear from the start. The viral videos claiming that airlines are systematically denying boarding to passengers over 70 because they're not fit to fly are complete nonsense. These AI-generated scare tactics have terrified thousands of seniors unnecessarily. But while that particular fear is unfounded, there are very real changes that could absolutely ruin your travel plans if you're not prepared. The biggest shock for most seniors has been the Real ID enforcement that began May 7, 2025. After 20 years of delays since Congress passed the Real ID Act following 9/11, the government finally stopped extending deadlines. If you showed up at an airport after May 7th without a Real ID compliant license or an acceptable alternative, you simply couldn't board your flight. No exceptions, no sob stories, no "but I'm 85 years old, please that worked before." But here's what really caught everyone off guard. Starting February 1st, 2026, TSA introduced something called Confirm ID, and it costs $45 every time you use it. Before February, if you forgot your proper ID, TSA would go through a manual verification process at no charge. It took time, it was inconvenient, but it was free. Now you pay up or you don't fly. Adam Stahl, a senior TSA official, put it bluntly. This fee ensures that non-compliant travelers, not taxpayers, cover the cost of processing travelers without acceptable IDs. Translation: the days of showing up unprepared and getting a free pass are over. Let's talk numbers, because they tell the real story. By April 2025, just before the deadline, only 81% of travelers were presenting acceptable identification. That meant nearly 1 in 5 passengers were potentially going to be denied boarding. Fast forward to February 2026, and TSA reports that 95 to 99% of travelers now present proper identification. The enforcement worked, but it came with a learning curve that cost some people their trips. The AARP released fascinating data showing that 70% of adults over 50 planned trips in 2025, up from 65% the year before. That's millions of additional senior travelers navigating these new rules. Even more telling, 46% planned plane trips in 2025, compared to just 38% in 2024. We're talking about a massive surge in senior air travel, right as these regulations took effect. Now, let me address the elephant in the room. Those terrifying videos circulating on social media claiming that travelers over 70 are being systematically denied boarding because airport staff don't think they're fit to fly. The Rick Steves Travel Forum, one of the most respected travel communities online, investigated these claims extensively. Their conclusion was clear. These appear to be unfounded scare tactics. While airlines have always had the right to refuse boarding to anyone they deem unfit to fly, they aren't targeting the elderly or disabled. Here's the truth about fit-to-fly requirements. They exist, but they're not age-based. If you have a chronic illness, recent surgery, or a serious medical condition, airlines may require a medical clearance certificate. But this isn't new, and it's not targeting seniors. As one forum member with a 94-year-old uncle noted, no one will ask for a fit-to-fly certificate unless she is obviously unable to manage even with wheelchair help. Our uncle flies all over the world, independently, with no one ever bothering to ask those sorts of questions. The real discrimination protection for seniors comes from the Department of Transportation's Air Carrier Access Act of 1986, which explicitly states that airlines cannot require air travelers with disabilities to accept special services or subject them to restrictions that don't apply to other passengers. If you're being unfairly targeted because of your age, that's illegal, and you have legal recourse. So what change that actually matters? 5 major things, and I'll walk you through each one so you never get caught off guard. First, the Real ID requirement is now absolutely mandatory. Your old driver's license might look official, but if it doesn't have a star in the upper right corner, it won't get you on a plane for domestic flights. Period. The good news is that every state is now issuing Real ID compliant licenses, but getting one requires specific documents: your birth certificate or passport, proof of Social Security number, and 2 proofs of residence. Don't assume you have these documents readily available. Birth certificates from decades ago might be in rough shape, and many seniors discover their Social Security cards are missing when they need them most. Here's a crucial detail most people miss. TSA accepts expired identification up to 2 years past expiration. So if your driver's license expired in 2024, it's still valid for air travel through 2026. That's a significant grace period that could save you from the $45 Confirm ID fee if you're traveling soon. Second, the $45 Confirm ID fee structure is more complex than it first appears. The fee covers a 10-day period, not just one flight. If you're taking a round trip within 10 days, one payment covers both flights. But if your return is more than 10 days later, you pay again. The fee is non-refundable, even if TSA can't verify your identity and you still can't fly. That's money lost forever. To use Confirm ID, you must pay online at tsa.gov through the pay.gov portal before arriving at the airport. You'll receive an email receipt from pay.gov that you must present along with any government-issued ID you do have. The process can take up to 30 minutes, potentially causing you to miss your flight. This isn't a casual backup plan, it's an emergency option that requires advanced planning. Third, the alternatives to Real ID are broader than most people realize, and some are surprisingly affordable. A U.S. passport works for both domestic and international flights and never expires in terms of its usefulness as airport ID, even after the travel document expires. For domestic-only travelers, the U.S. passport card costs just $30 and serves the same function as a full passport at airports. Enhanced driver's licenses are available in Washington, Michigan, Minnesota, New York, and Vermont, and function exactly like Real IDs. Military IDs, permanent resident cards, and tribal IDs are all acceptable. TSA is also testing digital IDs through Apple and Google wallets at select airports, though availability is still limited. But here's what doesn't work, despite looking official. Medicare cards, Social Security cards, and veterans' medical cards are not acceptable identification for air travel, no matter how official they appear. Fourth, seniors actually get some screening benefits that younger travelers don't, but you need to know how to access them. Passengers 75 and older can leave their shoes and light jackets on during screening, thanks to risk-based intelligence that recognizes seniors as lower security threats. You can request to sit during screening if standing is difficult, and if you're unable to stand at all, TSA will screen you through alternative methods. But here's the key. These accommodations aren't automatic. You need to communicate your needs. TSA offers a program called TSA Cares, specifically for travelers with disabilities or medical conditions. You can call 855-7872-227 or email tsa-contactcenter@tsa.dhs.gov up to 72 hours before traveling to arrange assistance. This isn't charity, it's your right under the Air Carrier Access Act. Fifth, the Trusted Traveler programs have become almost essential for frequent senior travelers. And the math works in your favor. TSA, PreCheck costs $78 for 5 years, which breaks down to about $15 per year. When you enroll, you'll receive a known traveler number, KTN, that expedites your screening process. For seniors who travel even twice annually, the time savings alone justify the cost. The statistics are compelling. As of October 2025, 99% of TSA PreCheck passengers waited less than 10 minutes in security lines. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, administers global entry, which costs $120 for 5 years, but includes TSA PreCheck plus expedited customs processing for international travel. Given that AARP's data shows seniors are increasingly traveling internationally, global entry represents exceptional value for active senior travelers. Alternatively, Clear costs $209 annually, but provides biometric front-of-line access, though it works best when combined with PreCheck for complete screening bypass. Let me share some real-world scenarios that illustrate how these changes affect actual seniors. Consider Martha, a 73-year-old from Phoenix planning to visit her grandchildren in Chicago. Her Arizona driver's license expired in March 2024, but she hasn't renewed it because she rarely drives. Under the new rules, she can still use that expired license through March 2026 for air travel. She doesn't need to panic or pay the $45 Confirm ID fee. Compare that to Robert, a 68-year-old from rural Montana, whose birth certificate was damaged in a basement flood. He needs a real ID, but can't get one without proper documentation. His options are obtaining a certified copy of his birth certificate from Montana's Vital Records Office, getting a passport, or paying the $45 Confirm ID fee each time he travels. The passport is likely his most cost-effective long-term solution. Then there's Eleanor, an 81-year-old with mobility issues who travels frequently to see specialists in different cities. She invested in TSA PreCheck and learned to use the TSA Cares program. Her travel experience actually improved under the new system because she's proactive about her needs and prepared with proper documentation. The contrast between prepared and unprepared travelers has never been starker. AARP's research shows that seniors spend an average of $6,847 annually on travel, with 46% planning air travel in 2025. That's substantial investment that's easily jeopardized by poor preparation. The misinformation campaigns targeting seniors have been particularly cruel because they prey on real anxieties. Many seniors remember when air travel was simpler, when you could arrive 30 minutes before a domestic flight and walk right to the gate. Those days are gone forever, and the nostalgia makes seniors vulnerable to fear-mongering about new restrictions. But here's what the scaremongers don't tell you. The system is actually more accommodating to seniors' real needs than ever before. The TSA Cares program didn't exist in the good old days. The 75 and older shoe exemption is new. The ability to remain seated during screening is a recent accommodation. The system has evolved to be more senior-friendly, even as it's become more security-focused. The key is understanding that preparation, not age, determines your experience. A 90-year-old with a current passport and TSA PreCheck will breeze through security faster than a 40-year-old with an expired license and no preparation. Age discrimination is illegal. Preparation discrimination is the entire point of the system. Looking ahead, these rules aren't changing anytime soon. The Real ID Act was passed in 2005, debated for 2 decades, and finally implemented. This isn't a temporary COVID-era measure or a new administration's policy experiment. It's permanent federal law designed to enhance aviation security based on 9/11 Commission recommendations. TSA's early data shows the system is working as intended. The compliance rates have increased dramatically. Security processing is more predictable, and the various accommodation programs serve seniors who need them. The challenge is information, not discrimination. For seniors planning travel in 2026 and beyond, Your action plan is straightforward. First, verify your identification status immediately. Check whether your license has the Real ID star, or consider getting a passport card for domestic travel convenience. Second, if you travel frequently, invest in TSA PreCheck or Global Entry. The time and stress savings compound with each trip. Third, if you have any mobility, medical, or accessibility needs, contact TSA Cares before traveling. Don't assume airport staff will automatically know how to help you. Advocacy organizations worked hard to create these programs, and using them ensures they remain funded and available. Fourth, ignore the fear-mongering videos and social media posts. Stick to official sources, tsa.gov, aarp.org, and establish travel forms with real user experiences. The internet is full of people trying to monetize your anxiety. Don't let them. Finally, remember that air travel remains one of the safest, most regulated industries in the world. The new rules might require more preparation, but they don't discriminate against seniors. In fact, the accommodations available to senior travelers today are more comprehensive than they've ever been. The seniors who adapt to these changes will find that modern air travel, while more complex, offers unprecedented conveniences for those who come prepared. The ones who resist change or fall for misinformation will continue to struggle with a system that's actually designed to work in their favor. Your age is an asset in the current system, not a liability. Use it wisely, prepare properly, and enjoy the freedom that air travel provides.